A boy was found in a hole, and here's what happened. An older couple were on their daily walk in their quiet town. It was early morning. The dew droplets still clung to the grass. The overcast sky threatened rain. They came upon the forest path and followed it. Among the evergreens and oak trees, they heard a desperate cry. "Help! Help!" It sounded like a young boy. "Call out again," the man said as they followed the voice. "I'm over here." They came upon a deep hole. Even though the boy was stretching his arms up, he was only half its height. A thick layer of dirt covered every inch of him, except the streaks where his tears had fallen. His striped shirt and jeans were stained an earthy brown. The old man couldn't reach down far enough, so he left his wife in search of help. He returned soon in the sheriff's car. The sheriff and another officer unfurled a ladder to fish the boy out. "Are you Adam?" asked the sheriff. The boy nodded. He told Adam they'd been looking for him all night. They took him to the station. He sat with the couple in the back of the sheriff's car, staring out the window silently. When they arrived, they told him to change while they called his mother. They provided clothes from the lost and found. He washed his face and dressed in an oversized yellow shirt that said, "Fun in the Sun," and pants that were so big he had to hold them up. The sheriff took him into a room with a single table, 2 chairs, and a huge mirror. He found the concrete walls suffocating, so he stared at himself in the mirror. His reflection stared back at him. For that moment, they were the only 2 people in the world who knew what happened. The sheriff asked him how he ended up there, but Adam remained silent. "Can you tell us who did this to you?" Silence. "Can you tell us what happened?" No reply. He didn't answer a single question. After a few minutes, his mother burst in the door and gave him a huge hug. "I was so worried," she said, sobbing. "I thought you'd..." She couldn't even finish the thought. "What happened? Who did that to you?" "I can't tell, Mommy," he replied. "I told them I wouldn't, or they'd hurt you." She kept her arms wrapped around him. "No one's going to hurt me," she insisted, but the boy wouldn't tell. Without any information, the police promised to continue looking into it, but there wasn't much they could do. The boy and his mom went home. Nothing ever happened in that little town, so the news instantly picked up the story. "Young boy mysteriously found in hole," read the headline. Everyone was talking about it. Adam gained a certain fame from it. At school, all the kids wanted to sit with him, even the ones that used to make fun of him. They shared their snacks with him, and he got an extra dessert from the lunch lady. It took a week for the news to spread across the state. Conspiracies ran rampant. One group claimed it was his father, who after 7 years came back to get rid of him once and for all. Another group was convinced it was the kids from his school, but no one understood how second graders could have dug such a deep hole. Soon, the whole state was obsessed with the mystery behind the boy found in a hole. Miles away, a suburban mom read the news 7 days later while sipping her coffee. Her first reaction upon reading the story of the boy in the hole was sympathy for him and his mother. She thought of her own 14-year-old son and cursed the thought of something like that happening to him. Something occurred to her. It was exactly 7 days ago she noticed dirt on her son's brand new white shoes. She'd remembered her frustration at the thought of him having ruined them so soon. She went and looked at them now, and sure enough, the dirt had stained them. Her heart pounded in her chest, and she began to sweat. She debated whether to act as if she'd not seen them or notify the police. After much deliberation, she did the latter. The local police searched her house but found nothing. "What about in there?" asked an officer, gesturing through the kitchen window to a dilapidated shed. "We never go in there," replied the mother. In the shed, among the old tools and forgotten boxes, the police found a shovel, still dirty from a recent dig. They knew they found the perpetrator. The woman begged the officers not to arrest him in front of his classmates, so they waited for her son to walk home from school. When he entered the house, the police and his mom were sitting in the kitchen. His mom held her head in her hands. It was clear she'd been crying. They took the boy to the station. "How'd you do it?" they asked in their interrogation room. The boy, knowing he'd been caught, told the entire story. He turned on his 2 friends who helped him dig the hole in hopes of leniency. wanted to do something like this for a while. We always go to that forest to drink. We saw him walking home from school," said the older boy. "We said we needed the help of a local. I'd drawn up a treasure map the night before. We pretended we didn't know where in the forest it pointed to. He said he'd help us. He seemed really excited. We drove him out near the forest and took our shovels from the trunk. All 4 of us got out of the car and walked the path in search of the treasure that didn't exist. When we got to the fake spot, we started digging. We told, what's his name? Adam, replied the officer. We told Adam he could sit because he'd been so helpful. We told him we'd do the digging. I think he thought he was friends with us. He was smiling. It was dark by the time we finished. We helped each other climb out of the hole. I said, 'We found it,' and told him to come look. Adam jumped up from the tree trunk he'd been leaning against and ran to look down the hole. 'There's nothing down there,' he began to say. We pushed him in. We watched for a while as he tried to get out, grabbing onto the sides and trying to climb, but the dirt crumbled so he fell with fistfuls of it in his hands. He started to cry, and that made us laugh. Then, we left him there. The 7-year-old was driven to the station with his mom, but he still refused to admit those boys had done that to him. He was still afraid.